What's up, guys? Welcome back to the review and discussion for UnOrdianry episode 315. And honestly, guys, I gotta say, this episode is really freaking good. There is a lot of tension. There is a lot of, what's gonna happen next moments in this episode that I personally really liked. And also, this episode ends on a super high note, actually. And kind of a, oh god, I definitely need to read next week kind of note. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and jump right into why this episode is really cool, and also some things that I think will be happening in the next little bit. So, here we go. Now, Orrein, as we saw at the end of episode 314, Orrein is in full control over Rein's body. And Arlo informs Cass of his name, that he tells that's Orrein. And he guesses that he is the one in control of this location. We as the audience, however, know that John warned Arlo about Orrein and his ability to place commandment on other people. Now, with this though, Orrein having full control over a person's body, not just mental commands, he has to be a god tier, and I'm still sticking with that. With the scale of this kind of ability, he has to be stronger than Sarah. I'm going to stick with my thoughts of him being an 8.5, but he could actually be higher. So, I'm still sticking with 8.5. But Cassandra also theorizes herself that if he's able to have control over her the way that he does, he has to most likely be hiding somewhere in the building. But he cannot get to them whatsoever. She can't risk that happening. So it will be really interesting to see if by the end of this episode, or if by the end of this little section, if they do manage to locate Orrein. So the two of them team up once again. Cassandra reinforces Arlo's barrier with her particles, still sticking with her ability as conjure particles. However, in this part though, Cassandra has a plan. Earlier in the episode, like honestly right before this part, she notices a hole that Orrein made with her arachnid legs, and she uses her ability to cover her ability's coverage of that's blocking Orrein's view, and she uses more particles to carry out her phone with a message sending to the Bureau of the location. Now, we don't know the exact range that Cassandra had to get out in order to have that message sent. But I still think, and I still once again am saying, I think this is further proof of how high her level is. If she's able to utilize her ability in just like this, in a capacity like this, still with her ability being halved. She at the very least has incredible mastery of her ability. And I'm honestly going to say more mastery than probably even Arlo. And I think she might be on par with John in terms of ability mastery. Nonetheless, Cassandra then assures, after getting that sent out, Cassandra assures Arlo that they're going to get out of this. And honestly, yeah, I really liked this section because this is just... Okay, you guys know how I felt about Cassandra. I think she got off to a really rough start in the current main storyline. I think you guys know how I felt about her. But honestly, I think Uru has been building up this character so well. Showing her aspects of what good a person Cassandra is, but also the kind of leader Cassandra had to have been. Because let's not forget, she was once the strongest student at Wellston, just like Arlo. She was the queen. And seeing her take leader kind of made me think, wow, this is what a queen is like. This is what a royal is like. They know what to do. They know how to take charge of the situation. And honestly, that's kind of something we've seen in a lot of royals throughout the series, in varying ways in varying degrees of success, honestly. But we do often see a lot of royals just kind of take charge of the situation, assess it, and figure out a way out of it. So, at least of the Wellston royals, I'll say. Other royals kind of get their trash kicked to them by the Welston royals. So, yeah, there's that too. Now, so she tries to attack all three of them. Liam, Candace, and Orrein. Orrein? Oh, that's kind of hard to say, but I'm sticking with it. I'm owning it. Orrein. So, she asks why, as she's attacking and it's proving ineffective, she kind of sends like a crescent slash like the ability that John copied before from, what was that guy's name? Whatever. You guys know the ability. It's also kind of looks like the wind blades, but she attacks with that. It phases through Liam because Candace is able to dodge out of it, and Orrein just blocks it with the arachnid legs. Now, she asks Liam and Candace why they're helping Orrein, what they have to gain from it. And Orrein says something really interesting here. And that is, you don't have a clue what these two have had to endure over their lifetime. Your empty words mean nothing. Now, this does get me thinking, what did the two of them have to endure? Do they have awful backstories like Terrence? Were they abused as kids? Or did something happen to them? Did they lose their families? I am kind of leaning to the side that Orrein may have recruited them the way that he recruited Terrence in a very low point in their lives. Low points that were either caused or not helped by the authorities. I think we are gonna be seeing more of them soon, though. Now, this did get me thinking, though. My first thought with Liam, these next bits are kind of theory, not really too much not really too much of a basis. If I'm being honest, this is kind of just me thinking out loud. So, with Liam, may he have actually been a late bloomer like John? Maybe he was readjusted at one point. So, imagine if that's why he's loyal to Now, that just got me thinking of that. Liam does seem to be one of the more aggressive people in the series. Not like John, but in a similar way. He is cold-blooded as well. So, now, is Liam a late bloomer who got out of control at one point? Possibly. It's a bit of a stretch, if I'm being honest. It's just a wild guess, honestly. But this did also got me thinking. If the two of them, Liam and Candace, are really that loyal to Orrein, like Terrence, were their abilities never disabled then? Did he just recruit them and now they're just working as their high tiers because they are high tiers? Were they not disabled? And what if that's why they stayed with their abilities? I asked myself this, but then I did realize as well, Rain still has her ability, and she definitely was disabled. So, yeah, it kind of seems like John's attack was really for nothing, unfortunately. Oh well, I guess. I am just kind of thinking, why have him do that if it led to nothing? Just me, though. Just me. Now, as their attacks continue, Arlo's barrier shatters completely. He cannot stand up anymore. And Orrein is about to attack when Cassandra stands in front of him, taking the attack. I was honestly scared that Uru was going to kill off Cassandra at this point. Arlo losing yet another mentor figure, another predecessor royal, would have been that would have been really traumatic for him. But she doesn't die yet, and honestly, I'm not going to hold that against Uru. It would have been totally unexpected. But it's fine if Cassandra doesn't die here. I didn't want Cassandra to die here. But she takes the attacks for him, and she then tries to retaliate with some big fists made from her particles. But it's blocked, and she and Arlo take even more hits, eventually getting captured. They get impaled, and Orrein is just holding them up. But he then says there'll be great additions to the collection. And Cassandra catches wind of this and wonders what that means. As they're about to be impaled, though, Arlo blocks the hit out of a moment of desperation. a few of you in the chat were thinking that maybe he gets a level up from this. And honestly, that would be pretty cool, honestly. I wouldn't mind Arlo getting a level up if everyone else is going to get a level up. I am still saying, I think by the end of all this, I think John will either be a level 8 or he will have surpassed Seraphina in terms of ability level. But she catches wind of this, especially after John meets Cameron, I think. But Arlo blocks the hit out of desperation. He's able to grab the arachnids and stop him with his hands. His hands also are glowing yellow around this time. So I am thinking, was this some kind of upgrade he's getting? Who knows? But from this, he immediately realizes their stats are back to normal. Their abilities are at full strength. I say full in quotations because they are still weakened from this fight, from this encounter. So, more on that in a bit. So, after he tells Cassandra this, she immediately demolishes Orrein, knocking her out of her way into a wall, but still having a hard time standing and remaining conscious. So, Liam and Candace rush over again, but Arlo puts up a barrier. It reflects the damage, and Arlo coughs up a little bit. But it's still damaged from before, but it is a lot sturdier than it was before. Liam catches wind of the reflection, of the reflecting damage. And I noticed it doesn't reflect back at him, but it does shatter the ice, leading to one of my theories from way back when being true, but I think this was already confirmed, that projectile attacks don't necessarily get reflected back to the user. Nonetheless. Or long-range attacks. Anyway, so Candace does take the damage, however, but Cass also attacks Liam again, but it phases through him. This isn't really too surprising because I still stand by Kuyo definitely has to be stronger than Liam, and Kuyo's attacks were also still phasing through Liam as well. So, who knows? So, more high tiers show up. There's 3 more who show up. We see one ability, which is kind of like a purple, blackish, fiery ability. And also, the other 2 just seem to be physical enhancement type abilities, since we really only see them rush. And, there's nothing really too telling about them. But Cassandra preps Arlo for the last sand. And, honestly, unfortunately, I can't deny this episode ended on a fucking high note. Boom. The wall explodes. It opens up. There's smoke. Everyone's wondering what's happening as Candace and one of the other guys launch an attack at Arlo and Cassandra. A barrier made of diamonds stands before them, reflects the damage. Valerie shows up with the save. And in spectacular fashion, honestly. Simply saying, we'll take it from here. And honestly, it is really cool. Despite how much I don't like Valerie. Despite how despicable of a person she clearly is, she clearly cares about Arlo. She clearly cares about her nephew and what's best for him. So her barrier variation, like I said, it's like diamonds. It's like four-sided diamonds, four-sided diamonds. But she seems to use them to form walls, which have the barrier. And like I said, Candace and the other guy and some other guy do punch at it, and the damage does get reflected back at them. So yeah, definitely a variation of Arlo's barrier. But yeah, it looks really, really cool. But that's not all. I also noticed some of the people among her group, and 2 make me really curious. there's a woman with light skin and light blue hair. It's a shade similar, or it just flat out is. It's the same color as Pyre's hair color, one of the Ember members that Kuyo has managed to track down. Another is a man with light skin and green hair. His skin color is also similar to Lumen. And again, this one is a bit of a stretch. He's also posed similarly, I think, to the picture that Kuyo managed to take of Lumen. So I am wondering if he's here too. I definitely think that Pyre is here, but I could be completely wrong about Lumen. I probably am most likely wrong, but I think it's really cool. I think it's really likely that Pyre, at the very least, is here, especially considering that I don't think Uru would use the same hair color for two characters so close like Lumen and Fury. They work for the same organization. I don't think she would do that right out the gate like this, but we'll get more info if we get more names next week, or next episode, which is today. So, watch Lumen actually be like Liam or something. Imagine that twist. That Liam is actually a double agent for Ember, for the authorities, hiding in plain sight. And also, it'd be really funny that the Hydro guy is fucking using a Flame Claw ability. That'd be really funny. It'd also be really stupid. Maybe it's his dad or something. I don't know. But honestly, overall, it's a solid episode. A good bit of tension. A lot of amazing tension. And I'm really excited. The ending gets me so excited, and it's a pretty good payoff to Cassandra and Arlo's diligent struggle. And once again, props to Cassandra for taking charge of the situation like a queen would. So, yeah. I may hate Valerie, but she does love Arlo, and I can't lie. She's sure to also be a bad bitch when push comes to shove. So, we're just going to have to wait and see what happens next episode. This episode is definitely a level 8.5 for me. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. See you guys here tonight for UnOrdianry episode 316. And as always, see you, Space Cowboy.